What's up, the internet? It's me, it's Kyle. How's it going? Welcome in to day 2 of the posted anniversary, which is the experience celebrating its anniversary. In case you haven't figured it out, post-it is in reference to the small square pieces of paper on which you write notes, but for legal reasons is not the same. It all comes from your 1 year anniversary is your paper anniversary, and we're not quite 1 year, we're half a year. So what's a small piece of paper? Sticky note. I thought it was punny. All right, joining me again today is my partner in crime and fellow punny person, Jenna.
I thought it was hysterical, darling, hysterical.
Now I'm uncomfortable.
We just got done watching Cruella.
That makes sense. Yeah. And our first guest today is a person whose level of twisted matches my own, and who is one of my favorite people whenever I'm around them, because you're never quite sure what's going to come out of his mouth or what he's going to set me up to say. So we're going to bring in my good friend and soon to be your good friend, Erick Gutierrez.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. Kyle, my
Erick
brother, how are you?
Very good. Erick is the creator of Max the Inebriated Rabbit, as well as a filmmaker and just general doer of things, I guess. Is that what you would consider yourself at this point?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Self-doer, I guess.
Yes.
If that makes sense, I don't know.
It does. Erick's one of those guys that when you take a picture of him, you're never quite sure if he's going to look like a teddy bear, if he's going to look like he's going to kill you. But either way, it's a good time.
Bit of column A, bit of column B.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Pleasure meeting you, Jenna, by the way. I don't think we've ever met before. Nice to meet you.
No, I don't think so.
So let's start here, Erick.
Mm-hmm.
What led you to choosing to be a creative? Like, why comics? Why film? Why?
It's one. I don't know, man. It's like I guess and I'm very, me, man. I'm very self-deprecating, very as confident as I am. I'm very humble as far as like me, and I hate to say, like, I hate to call myself an artist because it to me, like, it always sounds so pretentious, and it's like, but I think with every artist, you kind of know, like, at an early age, like, I want to do this. I don't know what what my creative juices will be going, what direction it's going to flow, but I want to make it happen somehow. So I guess, it all starts when you're a kid. You're like, shit, I love comics. I love film. I love, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things, man. Like, either you kind of follow through with that or you don't, you know what I mean? Like, and it just, and I'm lucky enough to have friends that are just amazing artists that kind of guided me into what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So if that makes sense. So it's one of those outlets where, you have to do it. You have to fulfill it. You can't explain it to people that don't understand. Like, I have to do this. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's writing or illustrating or whatever, it's just, I don't know.
Right, and you've surrounded yourself and at points really helped to build a creative community.
Yeah.
That I feel lucky to be a part of in some small way. It's
me as well.
It's you and Uncle Tony and John and Casey and
yes,
Dommies and all of these guys. Like, what has that community done for your creativeness, for your ability to be creative?
Oh man, all of them have, like you said, I've been very lucky to have friends that are, that have all been in that world, and they for sure, every one of them has somehow, made me better than, you know what I mean? Like, It's very inspirational. You know, every one of them have something that I learn from or take from. You know, so yeah. So I've been very lucky and blessed, I guess, if you want to be religious, which I'm not.
Do you remember? Do you remember the first local comic shop you went into?
Oh yeah. Before it was Green Brain. Shout out to Dan Merritt and his lovely better half, Katie. But it was Comics Plus way back in the day. That was my first comic book store in Dearborn, Michigan. Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to be there for Free Comic Book Day,
Yeah.
but I was
Awesome people.
actually where I currently am, so I couldn't go.
Great people.
Which kind of a bummer. Yeah, I love Dan and I love the store. It's I moved when I closed my store, I moved my pull list to a store here in town, but I actually get more from Dan and the Green Brain folks in terms of the stuff I'm actually reading, because they carry all the good
have
books.
A really great selection. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they support indie stuff. You know, they're just it's a great store. It's always been a great store. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've heard the story, and I know I've asked you to tell the story a bunch of times, but Jenna's never heard the story. And anybody watching has probably never heard the story. Where did Max come from?
Max is like a combination of different things, I guess. It's like I guess when he first came to me, it was like I was in a really dark place. Like my job sucked. This is before my current job, by the way. It was like years ago. I was like, what, you know, basically it's like crossroads moment, you know, like what the hell am I doing right now? Like, and then I stumbled across Charles Bukowski. I devoured all his books. That was like the biggest inspiration right there. And then it was in a weird state. You know, I read all of Bukowski's books, and then I started getting into like Hunter S. Thompson, and then some Burroughs. And then, you know, of course, I've always been a fan of anthropomorphic stuff like Ralph Bakshi and, you know, of course, Crumb and his Fritz the Cat. Robert Crumb is a huge influence, too. So it's like all that kind of fueled the inspiration for Max. So, yeah, I kind of credit my state of mind at that point, you know, for creating Max the Inebriated Rabbit. You know,
so would you say that Max is the intersection of Charles Bukowski and Disney?
And some of my life, yes.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of me in it.
I've always said this is what happened. This is what would have happened if Walt Disney had given Charles Bukowski an animation budget.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And you've worked on other comic properties and stuff. I know you've done some stuff with John. And that, but you're also
John Marroquin, by the way, if anybody doesn't know.
John Marroquin. Sorry, I should.
That's okay.
I just assume everybody knows John, even though he doesn't talk to anybody. You're sitting across the table having a conversation with the guy, and he's not talking to you.
No, he's a
shout out to John. I love John. He'll see this and he'll text me later. You son of a bitch! Just bust my chops later. So, but you also have written and produced a movie, at least one, right?
Bender.
Yeah, Bender.
Out on DVD and Blu-ray. Both.
Nice.
Yeah. It's also we're also working on streaming as we speak. So just a little bit of hurdles we got to go through, and then hopefully we'll get a streaming deal.
So what's it about?
It's like it's like Max, but like human form, basically.
Oh, okay.
After Hours Detroit. That was part of like the whole. I was in a weird, like I said, I did Max. I wrote that first screenplay. Like 7 drafts later, we filmed it, and I hate like I cringe when I watch it because it's my writing. I'm very, as I said, but it's my first script, and I'm very proud of how it came out. Everybody involved was amazing, and it's a beautifully shot film. I just, me, I'm so I criticize my writing because it's my first script. But whatever, I'm proud
You're
of it.
always going to be your own biggest critic, right?
Yes, always.
But you also, on the flip side, have to be your own biggest fan.
Yeah, I guess. Who else? Jen, if you're my fan, I'll be happy. If you're like my only fan, I'll be sorry.
Well, I hate to say this, but I only found out about Maxine Neri Rabbit when we got the lineup, and I'm sitting there. I do this research.
Yeah.
Where I literally make a page of everybody.
Yeah.
But this time, I was like, you know what? I'll just do one sentence per person. I'll take up one page. That didn't happen.
That's okay.
Win that.
Yeah,
I had to dive into it, and I was like, I need more.
Yeah, plenty of time to like, read my stuff and not like it. That's all.
In Jenna's defense, the first 3 issues are being packed by some of my staff today to ship to her. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there you go.
Yay! Because I'm actually
I've got Max.
I'm in Houston, baby. Everybody else is up north. I'm down here in the south. Oh.
Where are you at? Where
Houston, just outside of Houston.
Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
From Space Cadets.
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
No,
technically my room, but
so Detroit plays a pretty vivid role in all of your stuff.
It does, yeah.
And you're from that's your scene. That's where you're from.
Born and raised.
So, what? Talk to me about Detroit as a character, because I've noticed that a lot of Midwesterners and then a lot of Detroiters specifically treat Detroit as a character in their work. Not just you, but a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
You look at the Raimis; they do it. So many people.
Mm-hmm. Detroit is a very, I mean, it has a lot of history, obviously. Just, it's one of those things, man. Like, if you're from Detroit, if you know, you know what I mean? Like, it's a very thriving, very culturally diverse, it is, at one point, it was super gritty, super, just, it fuels a lot of art, fuels a lot of passion, a lot of different ideology, and it's just, it's an amazing city. It's gone through its, we've persevere. If you're from Detroit, man, you're gonna learn. You're gonna know how to persevere for sure. So
I feel like people from Detroit, people from Houston should just like
yeah. Any major urban area, like you're gonna learn. You're gonna appreciate a lot of shit.
Yeah. Definitely.
Anybody who's ever been a Lions fan is gonna learn how to just survive.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a sad sap Lions fan, and yeah, exactly. This is true.
So
damn it, Kyle! Why do you have to go there?
I've been shaking our fists all day yesterday, and today's already starting off, huh?
Well, it's like I know you're from Ohio, Kyle, so it's like I can't talk crap about like the Browns.
I'm from Toledo, so I'm basically from Detroit.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's Cleveland's a whole other state. Yeah. Cleveland's a whole other state. Like it really is. But no, but that's kind of what that's kind of where I was going. There's something to be said for, hey, we're going to Hamtramck, and everybody knows which bar you're going to when you say we're going to Hamtramck. Like
there's a lot of bars in Hamtramck.
Well, but everybody knows you're going to the Temple. Like that's where you go. You're going, when you say, oh, I'm going to the Temple or I'm going to this bar, everybody knows where that is. Like Detroit is such a unique
shout out
fingerprint.
To Augie, who bartends at Whiskey in the Jar in Hamtramck. Shout out to August. He's a good dude.
Yes, whiskey. I haven't been to Whiskey in the Jar since 2019.
That's I haven't been there since the pandemic. So,
well, that's kind of the problem. Is we went after Monroe Comic-Con. We went after Monroe 2019, and I haven't had a reason to go back because of the pandemic. So. Hopefully we're going back soon. I got to stand around at that bar for reasons, but it's well, last time I was there, a friend of ours who's no longer with us was with us, so I gotta go.
Yeah.
So, but when I watched Bender,
oh, you watched it?
Help.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. What am I not going to do? Buy your movie?
That's why I love Kyle. I love this guy. He supports. He's a
What
good
am I?
dude.
What am I gonna do? Not buy it? Like, come on.
Exactly.
Even if I didn't like it, I'm gonna buy it. Like,
Even
I
if
liked
did
it
like it,
because, right? It's.
if you did like it,
But
that's fine.
I did like it.
Cherry
I
on
did
top.
like it because it reminded me of so many nights in my own life.
Mhm.
Like, so when you were writing the script, and I know you said you're your own worst critic and whatever, but were you trying? Did you have a sense of the relatability that it would have for people from where we're from?
Oh yeah, I mean, I knew a lot of those people. I know a lot of those people. That's people I've encountered, situations I've been in. So
Mhm.
of course, a lot of it's
Cranked up to
yes.
11.
Yeah, pretty much. But yes, I've been man. The after hours scene in Detroit for a long time before like gentrification came full blown. It might be still a thing. I'm old. I don't go to the after hours like I used to, but back that was the thing, That was like, what else was there to do in Detroit, before things got better. It was like, what is it? You get to go to
Before
after
Mark Wahlberg showed up. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So
It's true.
yes. So yes, it's all from firsthand experience and all that good stuff.
There's something to be said for. I kind of miss going to a Tigers game and being accosted by a prostitute. Like, that stuff doesn't happen anymore.
You haven't lived
not in Houston.
But you're like. Right.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
Go ahead. No, but there's something to be said for.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's something to be said for being like 7 years old and going to Tiger Stadium to watch them lose because they're going to lose 120 games that year.
Right.
And the prostitutes are yelling at you for spending your money going to the Tigers game. And you're 7.
You know what?
That was Detroit when I was coming up, man.
Oh my goodness.
You spend better money with
every game.
That's a good time though, Kyle.
Right, but I kind of long for those days, and Bender really does remind me of that. Like, and I'm sure I can't remember the word, but like I'm building them up in my brain because they're gone. But when Detroit was wild.
Oh yeah. People don't realize like it's got a lot better, but no, it's a rough town, man. If you know what I mean, like good people, like all good people, good, not but love, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're with Rocketing Studios now, doing the book, which is Uncle Tony and Tony Maiello. Shout out to Tony and Bill Bukowski and the gang over there. What made you switch from kind of self-publishing to working with those guys?
I mean, it's one of those things like I still, the single issues I'm still self-publishing, but like when I do a collected trade or like right now I'm working on a specific non-max title that I want another artist to illustrate and I'm writing it, like I'll release them as single issues, but when I get them in a collected volume, that's Rocket Inc. will publish it. That's basically the deal. So it's a good deal, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I want Rocket Inc. to be a thriving company. You know what I mean? I want there to be the more the merrier. You know what I mean? Like the more diversified companies, indie companies. So yeah, a lot of good people have good stuff on Rocket Inc.
Oh yeah,
very talented people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Is there and I think you just mentioned it, and I'm not gonna push if that is it. Is there a story that you've got that you're like, I just can't wait till people get to see this shit? Like
yeah, it's quite a few actually. The one I'm working on now, Tank. I don't want to reveal too much, but it's very different. People that know me know what the story's about, but I don't think it's ever been, as far as I know, ever been done. It's basically about this like really badass little dude, little person, super soldier, and that's the premise. And takes place like in a future, and yeah, I don't want to reveal too much. So
no, and like I said, I wasn't gonna push. That's what I was hoping you were talking about. We were going to say
Yeah.
because
It's like-
I've been very excited for Tank since you first told me about it.
Yeah, he's
I'm
like
already excited.
it's like the Russian egg, the little egg person. Like it's him. He's the bad little dude. He's like in this giant exoskeleton, like mega mech suit, and then he's in a tank, and then like he's just a bad little dude. But yeah, that's the premise. It's like it's like Puck from Alpha Flight, but like even more badass. You know.
I instantly thought, is people gonna die?
Oh yeah, a lot of people died in this comic book. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jenna.
I'm still laughing. I'm still laughing.
Okay. All right. I love the Russian nesting doll idea. Is that it's just it gets progressively smaller, but as it gets smaller, it gets more badass.
He's still badass. Yeah, he's
right. You know, he's in this giant mech suit, but that's just to keep him in control, and then he loses. Like, I would love, I don't know if that's
he's in a giant tank,
but in my brain,
he's got an exosuit, and then he's just him. He's like like no, he's still a little killer.
Right.
He's bad.
Yeah,
he's sweet. Jenna gets it.
In comics, yeah. Oh yeah, Jenna totally gets it. In comics, what would you say are your biggest influences? You talked about Crumb. You talked about some of those guys.
In comics, Crumb, obviously. She's still cracking up.
I'm crying now. I'm trying to suppress the laugh so I start crying. Well, it's too early for that already. Come on.
It's 11:24 and we broke Jenna.
It's 10:24 and you broke Jenna.
Nice.
We'll take it.
Yeah, before he went completely insane and got weird, Frank Miller was a huge influence. Who else? A lot of let's see. Dale Keown was, and I'm nowhere near as like my art is nowhere near, but it's like influences like that. Just Alan Moore as a writer for the classics, I guess. Sam Keith. I used to love his stuff. I don't think he does enough anymore, but yeah.
Are you okay?
Okay, I think I'm okay now.
I think Jenna needs to come to Detroit and hang out. That's what I think Jenna needs to get away from Houston.
Absolutely.
Kyle,
I'm planning. I'm trying to plan once more people are like vaccinated. Once we get a little more coming to like, I'm planning on doing a like road trip just around the country for different comic book shops because I usually do that once every 5 or 6 years where I would just pack up my car and just start driving. And I think that comes from when I was a teenager. Mm-hmm. Me and my grandfather, we would get on the motorcycle every weekend and just drive to the nearest biker rally or whatever biker rally was around the country. So I started doing that with cons in my late teenage years and my adulthood. And then, just sort of life happened.
There you go, yeah.
And I haven't really been able to do it, and I plan on doing it again. Now, when I first started doing this, it was with my cousin Swishy, and I had a 1989 Cadillac DeVille.
Oh, shit.
That me and my grandfather spent 3 years building out of just stuff we found in the junkyard.
You have instant street cred with me, by the way, just for saying that.
What, the car or building it?
Both.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll be surprised by this. Me and my grandfather, he gave me a 2001 Honda Shadow for my 17th birthday, but I was too short. I'm 5 foot. So we lowered it. So we worked on classic cars. We worked on
Grandpa was a dope old dude, like good,
yeah. Yeah, my papa was he ran with Hell's Angels when he was a teenager, and when he moved to Texas, we ran Bandito's Gypsies.
That's a grandpa right there. That's a straight OG.
And then when he got older, he found Christ, and so he joined the Christian Motorcycle Association. So we would literally spend our weekends going to biker rallies and biker bars, sit down, have a beer with them, and then pray with them over their bike.
Wow.
So it was,
pretty cool.
So, and then when I was an adult, I got my TABC license, and I was able to be the bartender at all of these biker rallies. And we would just do it for charity. You'd be like, hey, here's my tip bucket. You don't have to pay me. You just pay for the drink and put it in the tip bucket, and we'll donate it to charity. Nice. So it was really cool to do that all over the country. And then as I got older, I started doing it for cons. And my car had no AC. That was the
about
one
right.
thing
It sounds
we
like me.
couldn't fix. Now the
It
seats,
sounds like a DeVille.
we would lay back the seats because they were the big plush seats, you know,
Yeah.
and just go to sleep. We would go drive into a small town, do whatever. Like a lot of small towns have like those boards or just side jobs that they need help with. We'd pick a couple of those to get enough gas to go to the next town. And I did the same thing for cons when I was older. So I'm planning another one of those trips, hopefully, once the world, you know.
Once the world gets kind of normalized again.
Once everybody does what they need to do and shape up.
Yes, I agree.
Shape up so I can go on a road trip, please.
Because Kyle, you need to bring her when when we all hang out.
Yeah, we'll have to go to Hamtramck.
I don't. Hey, that's cool. Hamtramck is like 5 minutes away from Detroit, so yeah.
Oh my goodness! I think the furthest I've ever been is Sturgis.
The joke is that no one ever goes to Hamtramck unless they're drinking.
It's true.
Oh,
or they're looking for Polish food.
I love both.
Yeah. Hamtramck Hamtown's a good time though. I ain't gonna lie.
I gotta warn you though. I'm a pretty when I do drink, I'm a heavy drinker. I don't drink all the time, but when I do, it's a lot.
You'll fit right in.
It's fine.
You'll fit right in.
And
all right.
My family's very. I have Russians and Irish in my family, so let's do this.
Tailor made, yeah.
All right. To get us back on the rails here a little bit.
Jenna, you distracted me. Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm here for. It's the red hair.
But it is.
So, is there, because you and I have done a lot of conventions together and stuff. Is there a convention you miss specifically because you don't get to go out to eat there? Or you haven't been able to go out to eat there?
I haven't been to C2E2 in a while. So that's probably one con. It's been a few years. Even before the pandemic, I kind of missed like the last two, I want to say. So hopefully I'll be back there soon. But C2E2 is one of them, yeah. For sure. Because we always have like, a tradition was we would go to, I can't even remember the name, but there's like this amazing Chinese restaurant in Chicago. Great food. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that place now.
Yeah, the table turns, really good.
Yeah, no.
With the food, come on, man! I just ran out of coffee. I need you to start with the food, man.
Are you doing any shows this year? Do you have anything planned?
Yeah, my first one is Motor City Comic Con.
Okay.
Yeah, with John. I'm doing it with John.
All right. I'm not. I for the first time in. Oh Lord. Other than not counting last year, this will be the first Motor City I've missed in 15 years.
Yeah, it's a weird time,
Might be
man.
the first Motor City I've ever missed.
Really?
Well,
wow.
I mean, since Miriam took it over, at least.
Right. Okay.
I know for sure since Miriam took over.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm missing is it's my nephew's first birthday. And I asked my sister if she could change the birth certificate so it didn't. Like, hey, can we change when his birthday is so I go to Motor City?
Yeah.
And she's like, no. I'm like, but it's Motor City.
Why would she not agree to that?
Hey, that'll be the best birthday present ever. Like when he gets a little bit older and you can take him to cons with you. Like, happy birthday! This whole
Comic-Con for you.
He would love that, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
Comic-Con for you.
Yes.
Oh,
you'd be the cool
my
uncle.
nephew. Well, he's not. He's just about 9 months now. His favorite place to go with me is to the record store because he loves the loud music, the bright lights, and I think the smell of weed, but I'm not sure.
You can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
Right. He can't tell me that he likes the smell or not.
Yeah. You can tell though.
Right.
It's the twinkle
he just
in his
loves
eye.
going in there. He'll like look at the records and he'll stare at the lights and giggle like,
yeah.
Okay, that's what every store in there is doing. So I assume.
No, that's cool.
But,
That's cool. That means like he's the vibe he's getting from that. It's like he likes it. So that's
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't wait to take him to Comic-Con.
What's that, Jenna?
That's gonna be a one cool kid.
Oh yeah, you got it.
And I have almost 17 nieces and nephews, and I want that one. Give it. He can become one of mine too.
Right.
It's a lot of nephews.
Right now, right now I've got him into dinosaurs real big. Because it's an excuse to send loud light up toys to his house.
Oh, but your sister.
There you go.
Yeah, my sister and
Annoy the
brother-in-law
shit
have
out
to
of
deal
your
with it, and
sister.
I'm right. That's exactly it. So, with Motor City coming back, and with you saying you're doing Motor City, what about cons is the thing you're most looking forward to returning to?
Yeah,
Don't
it's like
food.
no, not the food, not convention,
Not at Motor City.
not at Motor City, not at any convention. Outside, yeah, the restaurants, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say under normal circumstances, like meeting new fans, getting new fans, but it's kind of a weird, it's kind of weird, right? You're like, I want people to come
Right.
check out my stuff, but at the same time, like, all right, got my mask on, keep your distance, like.
Right.
You can love me from a distance.
Yeah, exactly.
Love me from a distance.
Right. I'm thinking about getting a grabber.
A
To
great
hand
game,
stuff to people,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, extended hand, like grab the hand, but you can't.
I have to send you my T-Rex head one.
The little, yeah.
Yeah, but that'll mess up the comic books.
Yeah.
But
It doesn't mess up socks, so you'll be fine.
yeah, there you go.
That's basically what I miss. I don't know. It's interacting with, seeing your people, seeing people that you like you don't normally see all the time, and when you see them in cons, you're like, they're like your friends because they're your peers, and you're I miss that. Fellow artists, fellow writers, fellow yeah.
Right.
So
I keep thinking about the nesting dolls.
yeah.
Jenna just keeps going back to Tank.
Yeah. Tank.
I think you found your A fan for that.
Good. I can't wait. I hope you like it.
Jenna will be your cheerleader.
Nice.
And Jenna, if you don't know, you definitely don't know. Jenna is our social media person for the experience. So Jenna has a rather large antenna with which to broadcast the things she likes. And because I don't know how to social media that good, I can't stop her. So,
well, Jenna, just when you read Max, don't hate me because it's a very dark and gritty comic book.
Shoot.
But
I come from a biker world with old gritty dudes. Yeah.
Ironically enough, Max has a lot of women fans, which I'm like, thank you. You understand him as a degenerate lout. So, I always tell people like Max means well, he just can't do well.
Yeah.
How he is.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, but Tank, I think you'll dig it too. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Give me now. Put it in my hand now. Give it
soon. Yeah.
Oh,
I gotta find the artist. I'm writing it, but yeah, soon.
I have an idea on an artist. I'll send you some links.
Okay.
Cool. I don't know what your vision is, but just picturing it in my head, I have an idea. So, other than Tank, which we've talked about as much as I want to talk about because I don't need to give anything away so that I can be shocked and surprised when I get it. Do you have anything else like on the horizon? Anything else you're working on creatively?
I want to because I know John. I have like 2 comic books I want to write for John, so I want to get at least one going for him. One of them is a Western, and one of them, the other one is I'll just say it's called working title right now is Lucha Cop. It's like luchador. It's kind of a weird crime, kind of involving a lucha in Mexico. It's I got a lot of weird ideas in my head, man. It's like
and I love all of them.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you are a wrestling fan.
Oh yeah. Way back in the day.
And oftentimes when we start talking about wrestling, you remind me of guys I've forgotten about. We had a whole conversation one day about we were at Tony's convention.
Yeah.
And we talked for like 2 hours about Shane Douglas.
The franchise.
And then Shane was there.
Yeah.
And like you, me, Dirk, and Tony were all like giddy to meet the franchise, Shane Douglas.
Yeah.
And John's just like, who's that guy?
Yeah, John's never been a wrestling fan. Yeah.
Oh my
No.
gosh.
But John draws wrestlers so good.
Mm-hmm.
So
He likes. I
What-
think John likes more the luchador aspect, you know, because the masks and stuff. He loves that, but he's never been like a huge wrestling fan. But you know, but he busts his balls because when he starts out, he's like, I have no idea what he's talking about, which cracks me up.
Oh. I'm still freaking out
John.
about CM Punk.
Oh, see him, yeah, that was good. That was big news. It's good to see him
Well,
back.
that was what I was
I'm
going to
pretty
ask you.
sure
What are you
I
watching?
jumped off my couch and just screamed. And I texted my friend. I was like, he's back. And she's like,
Yeah.
I'm screaming. And I'm like, I'm in shock. And she's like,
Right.
I'm still screaming. I'm like, why didn't we watch this together?
Yeah, it's. I'm excited. You know. What'd you say, Kyle? You said.
Well, that was what I was going to ask. What are you watching? What wrestling promotions? What?
I watch.
What are you watching?
Everybody shits on Impact Wrestling, but Impact Wrestling is probably the best booked wrestling show on television right now. I've always been an Impact fan, and when Scott D'Amore and Don Callis took over, like almost 3 years ago, I was like, all right, this is going to be good. I told people, I said they're going to do some things, and yeah, it was because of Don Callis and Scott D'Amore. You have these quote unquote forbidden door open where everybody's working together, which is amazing. And this, 2021, New Japan, Impact, fucking sorry, I don't know if I can cuss, but AEW.
Get one.
Sorry. They're all working together except for WWE, and I just can't watch the WWE. It's so bad. The product is so bad. It is unwatchable. It's seriously.
It's amazing how. It's amazing how bad some of those dudes look on WWE, then they leave, and then 3 months later they're at AEW or Impact or they're in Japan.
Yeah,
it's like, where was that for the last 5 years?
Yeah, I think it's something to do with contract. WWE treats them like garbage, so when they go anywhere else, they're like, "I'm a human being."
That's the thing. It's like they're so. It's become this like everything is restricted. Like they can't cut their own promos. You can't. Their move sets are pared down. It's like, and look, I understand. Like when you wrestle in the WWE, yes, you become a better wrestler. As far as like in-ring work, yes, they have the best trainers.
Yeah.
But there is no diversity because you can't have a writer write for your pro. You can't. You got to develop your own character.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince and McMahon has gone away from all that, and that's why it's so horrible right now. And
I
the
feel
product.
Like
it's bad. It's catered to the kids. Like, no, it's like you got, it's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah,
the writing,
it's vanilla ice cream of professional wrestling.
Oof.
Yeah, I feel like he's built this thing, and now he's overprotective of his brand to the point where it's like pushing people away from just doing it. So we're all watching other things, and it's really nice to see these guys just sort of like shine that way.
And look, I criticize some of the AEW's booking because some of it's not great, but I credit Tony Khan for doing what he's like the biggest mark. And and I mean that in a good way. It's like he's a huge mark, and that's fine. I respect Tony Khan because he basically lets to a certain extent, you got to let them do what they do, but yeah, man, it's like Vince has just lost complete touch with anything. It's like
with reality.
Yeah. Triple H is handcuffed. Like NXT is like, what are you doing? Like Killer Cross.
Look
like,
what he did with the Undertaker. That just.
Well, Vince he's never gonna like Undertaker's always gonna do what he's gonna do. You know what I mean? Like that's one guy.
His first loss is the first time I've ever cried at live TV. The first time they made him lose, I was just.
Yeah, I think he lost to Brock Lesnar, which I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
The one guy, okay.
Like, live TV has never made me cry like that, and it still hasn't. Just in that one moment, I was just like, no. Yeah.
The streak was over.
Oh, I still don't believe it. No.
Wrestling it's a good time right now to be a fan though, because you get to see all these interpromotional, NWA is good. MLW is good. I like MLW. I think Court Bauer. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that product. It's really good. It reminds me of like ECW, but a little bit more, not as, extreme. But that's good stuff. Ring of Honor. It's solid.
Ring of Honor is losing a lot of momentum because those guys are able to go and get those AEW and get those NWA and Impact contracts right now.
Well,
they can go get a little more money.
It's strange, right? Because Ring of Honor is owned by Sinclair, they're filthy rich and they don't spend enough money. It's like weird.
Well, we can talk about Sinclair off the air just because I don't need somebody coming for my kneecaps right now. But
I know nothing.
I will just tell you this: that Sinclair Media has a collection of red hats in a closet somewhere.
I believe it.
And the wrestling promotion that they own bears that out. It's they don't respect it the way.
It's weird, right? Like they treat it like as a write-off or something. It's like bizarre. It's like every now and then they'll spend money, and it's like, oh look, because their TV product. I'm one of those people like I notice shit like on television. I'm like, their production values used to be horrible, like it was awful, but now it's gotten a lot better. I'm like, all right, somebody's actually spending money on production values, which is good. So they're getting baby steps with Ring of Honor, I guess. Their lighting and everything.
Is there a local promotion that gets you excited when they do a show?
Man, I haven't been to a local show in ages. I think the last one I went to was with Tony. I took a picture with Eddie Kingston when he was still an indie dude. He's a good dude, really down to earth, humble dude. This is right after he did the whole thing with LAX and Impact, and he was a great dude. That was probably the XICW. That was the last show I went to.
Yeah,
back in like 2019.
So there's a local promotion in Monroe that just announced yesterday, and you're going to get a text. There's going to be a text that goes to a bunch of people. Rhino and Tommy Dreamer versus Shane Douglas and their local star.
Wow. ECW throwback.
That's what I'm saying. I think we got to get the crew together and go and just heckle the crap out of it.
When was this? When is this show?
October.
Okay. All right. I might be down. Yeah.
I think it's the weekend. I think it's the Friday before the Friday of Motor City. We'll have to
check that out. Send me the link.
Yeah. I will.
Yeah.
It's I couldn't believe that. So let's we got a few minutes left. Erick, where can people buy stuff? Where can they give you money?
Where can they
support you? Yes, where can they find you on the socials?
Facebook, Erick Gutierrez. Max the Inebriated Rabbit also has his own page on Facebook. Instagram, GootyMax75. That's GUTI and then MAX 75. Twitter, which I'm not a huge fan of Twitter, but I'm on there. The real Erick G. Pretty much Facebook, Twitter, and the Instagramians. That's pretty much my socials. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And
And if you want to buy stuff, just reach out through there.
Reach out to me. You can message me on any one of those deals, things, and then you can also go to rocketingstudios.com, and Max is on. You can purchase Max the collected volume 1, which has the first 3 issues and a original short story.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Jenna will have to remember this.
Yes, Jenna.
To
please
do it.
Yes. And
we
Jenna,
have about 7 more hours, so hopefully.
Hal brings you to Detroit. We'll hang out, and then I'll sign a Max for you.
Aww, that's what's up. Once the world gets its act together, I'll definitely have to get there.
Once the world gets starts, exactly.
I have vivid memories of the first time I bought Max for my store directly from you and put it in the store, and in the first month, how many times I had to explain, no, it's not for children.
Yes, not for kids, definitely, yeah.
There's been
funny, I get the kids coming to the table because they're like, they see the funny animals draw. I'm like, sorry, kid.
This is not for the kids. No.
Your mom and dad could buy it, but not you.
So I have some generic questions that I like to ask everybody, and I didn't do it yesterday, but I'm going to bring it back today because I've never asked you this. We've talked a lot, so I've asked you most of my generic questions. But if you were stuck on a desert island or in traffic on Telegraph, what and you only had one CD or record, one book, and one movie for the rest of the time, what would it be?
One book, one CD, and one movie.
One book, one record, one movie.
The one book I would. Wow, that's tough. Post Office by Charles Bukowski. The one movie.
You say Bender, I swear to God.
Geek, but it's tough.
That's what I thought. I was like, he's going to say Bender.
No.
Yeah, you say your own movie, I swear to God.
No. It's probably 1978's Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
And Jesus, but record or music? Gee, man, that's tough. I'm gonna just Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Links.
Okay.
If you had to eat one pie for the rest of your life, what flavor?
What pie?
Yes. Yeah. You dirty.
Jenna, goddammit, you just yeah. You made me blush, by the way.
That's my job. That's why I'm here. Is it pecan pie?
The one that I really would like to eat all the time is, I'm just going to keep that in my mind. But what was the question?
Come
just
on,
say
man.
Pizza and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Peach pie.
Okay.
Good Lord. Kyle, what are you doing to me, man?
Kyle, that was Jenna.
I did not know she was going to ask that question.
I don't like cake. I like pie.
I love pie.
And there's a house of pie right around the corner from my house.
Okay. That's I love Jesus, Kyle. Get out of the gutter.
So dirty. Why are you so dirty? Oh my goodness.
I like Jenna, by the way, Kyle. You can bring her out anytime.
Jenna's good people.
Oh, I'm multiple peoples now.
We have a comment. Hang those curtains first. That's a reference that
inside joke, people. Yeah. That's a good story. We'll tell you that. Yeah. We have to tell you that story in private, Kyle.
Yes. But Dirk is here. He says, "What's up, Romano?" So
my boy, I love Dirk.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have just a few more minutes left.
I saw him he came down in June, I want to say. We hung out. We all hung out. We had a good dinner.
Yeah,
one more question.
I wasn't there, and I was sad about it. Of all the
projects you worked on, what was your favorite?
My favorite project?
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah, when we shot Bender, that was really fun. That was like the first movie. I was on the set like every day. It was pretty exciting. As low budget as it was really, it's one of those experiences like, oh, this is great, you know. So.
I always find the low budget movies are the most fun. There's a film school down here, and I know a lot of the kids who work there, and they're like, oh, your backyard. So I have a half-acre backyard with no lights in it right up on a lake.
Mm-hmm.
And at night, it gets steamy. And they're like, can we shoot a movie in your yard? And I'm like, oh, geez. Okay, go.
That's cool. Yeah.
So we do find those to be like the most fun to just, they come up at like 1 o'clock in the morning and they're like, Jenna, do you have pie? No, go away.
I'll be honest. So I've seen pictures of the lake in Jenna's backyard. And I really want to bring Jay Adams down there and do like a Swamp Thing recreation.
Yeah,
like
because this is all swampland where I live. It's filled in swampland, but the swamp's trying to come back. So yeah.
That's cool though. Yeah. Now I know Texas has some gators. Do you have gators in that?
Not in my area. So I'm actually north of Houston. I'm in the Woodlands. But if you go down about 10 miles, a little bit closer to the bayou, then yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of like people don't realize that. Like I know I'm like you don't think when you think gators, you think Florida, Louisiana, but you don't ever think like
you don't ever think of Texas. We have them. I mean, if you're floating down the wrong river, like the San Jacinto one that's down here.
I mean, it makes sense. It's all it's pretty much all connected. They're gonna get down there.
And then it's a lot of fun because you get the small gators running in people's yards and they're like, oh no! And then of course my family, my mama, she's actually from the swamplands in Louisiana. You got to take an airship to get to her house, her soul. And now there was some gators there. I got used to those big boys that come over here, and I'm like, it's just a baby now. Shad, duct tape the mouth and move on. Cook them up in gumbo.
Or you put Loki horns on it and move on.
There you go. When y'all come down here, I'll make you my big old pot of gumbo.
There you go. I would love that. That would be great. I like gumbo, by the way.
Oh, thank God. I've met a lot of people who have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, some jambalaya and some gumbo.
Delicious.
Get you some boudin balls and links.
I don't know how we got from pie to gumbo, but we'll keep moving. So
pie pairs very well after gumbo.
Yeah.
You're killing me. You're killing me this in the morning.
It's too early.
Yes. So are we getting more Max soon?
Yeah, I'm working on issue 4. I got like a few more pages. I got to get it done. Like hopefully for Motor City. I think issue 4 is going to be the first one where I'll have somebody else do the cover. So, yeah. But issue 4 will be done soon. Yeah. So look out for that. And I think like it's going to be a story arc. So it'll be like 3 issues of one arc. Max gets a job. That's his.
That's how it all comes.
That's it. He starts working, like a normal person. Or
I wonder what kind of job it is. Like,
actually, it's based on my when I used to work. Actually, ironically enough, it's when it all goes full circle. When I was working for I worked for the plant. I used to load trucks, and that's basically it's based on that experience loosely.
Okay.
Which inspired Max. Which is yeah.
So. One last time, we got about 3 minutes left. It's Max the Inebriated Rabbit on Facebook, Rocketing Studios to buy the trade of Max. You can get Bender wherever fine films are sold. I think I got mine on Amazon.
Get it on Amazon. It was on Best Buy, but I think it's sold out. But yes, Amazon, Movie Xing, ZYNG. A few other sites, but yes, Walmart. Walmart, you get on Walmart. But we're as I said, we're working on the streaming video on demand soon. So yeah, I'm excited.
I'm so proud of you for that. Like I really did enjoy that movie. So all right,
I have hunting to do
with our last couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If you could only tell one story going forward, which of the stories that you're working on would it be?
Wow, Kyle, Jesus, that's some deep shit you just threw at me, man.
Well, I know what Jenna wants you to say, and I know what I want you to say, but no, I think Jenna would say Tank, and I would say Max. So
yeah. I think I could go on and on with Max because it's like, a lot of it's just mundane stuff, like.
Right.
Yeah, I would, because Max that's my baby, it's my go-to. It's like,
Max really has that kind of Harvey P. Cars.
Yeah.
American Splendor kind of, it's just this dude living his life kind of story.
Right. And you're exactly. Yeah. A regular old rabbit, like everybody knows,
Can't wait for Kyle to send it to me so I can read it.
Yeah, let me know. I would love for you to, if you hate it, that's fine. It's fine. I always tell people if you don't dig it, that's perfectly fine, But yeah, probably Max, I would say. Yeah.
All right, man. I can't wait to see you and give you a giant hug. Socially distanced because people are crazy.
Air hug.
Then
Air hug
not
everywhere.
Socially distanced eventually. So,
well, we'll still hug each other. We're all vaccinated, and hopefully things will be better when we actually see each other. So
just throw a pie at him, you'll be fine.
All right, just leave that hanging in the air.
Yeah,
and
nobody.
Thank you to Eric for being here. Thank you to Jenna for being here with me. We are going to be right back in just about a minute. Yes, by Bender, by Max.
I want to say thank you both for having me. Jenna, it was an extreme pleasure meeting you. You're a lovely woman.
Human person.
Yeah. Thanks, Kyle, for inviting me. I was nothing but love, brother. You know that. I love you. You're a good dude. And thank you both. And Jenna, when you better bring her to Detroit next time you get normal.
First chance I get.
I don't drive motorcycles, but whatever.
Find a good bar.
We'll find something. Yeah. So,
thank you guys.
We will be back in just a minute here on the Experience Post-it Anniversary with Xing of Ximphonic Verses and more interviews throughout the day. So stick with us.
Welcome back to our day 2 of our Post-it Anniversary. 6 whole months. Yay! We have a super special guest today. Let's see. Ta-da! Hi there!
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm super excited to see you. Hi.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Dope. So welcome into our 6-month anniversary. Thank you for joining us I'm not sure what time it is for you, but for me, it's still morning. So thank you for joining me this morning.
Happy to be here. It's nice to meet you. It's 12 where I'm at.
Oh.
So are you on the East Coast or?
I'm in Texas, so it's 11 o'clock here.
Oh, okay. Nice. What part of Texas?
Houston.
I used to live in Houston.
Really?
Many years ago, I used to work off of FM 1960.
Okay. I'm up in the Woodlands area.
I know where Woodlands is at, and Cypress, and I used to live there, and Dallas, and Austin, and San Antonio, and
you just had all the big cities.
All the places, that was home for a long time. Yeah, but that was not anymore. Now I live in New Jersey.
Wow, that's a big difference, I bet.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. So, but it's fun, it's enjoyable.
What made you leave Texas?
Huh?
What made you leave Texas?
Well, at the time I was still I was young, and we were moving, and and we had moved to Colorado and to Virginia Beach, and I just kind of have been kind of all over the place. But I still have a lot of family that lives in Texas, lots of nieces and nephews and things like that. So it's fun. I look forward to being able to go back when it's safer to travel. As still have to be really careful right now. And I'm sorry, I don't know why it looks so dark in here. This is so strange. I am not sure what is going on, because a light is on and yet it looks like I'm sitting in the dark. And wait, can you just I'm gonna turn off my camera for 1 second.
Okay,
try to fix something. Just a minute. I will be right back.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, do what's comfortable. So while we're waiting for him to take a little find some light, I guess is the best way to say it. We want to say thank you to everybody for giving us this amazing 6 months that we have been on the air. Super excited about all the guests that we have today. If you guys missed any of the guests that we had yesterday, they will be up live here soon. Well, not live. It's going to be re-put up there, I believe, for everybody to see. I think he may be back.
Okay, let's see. That's a little better. Yeah, okay. I still don't know why it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what is going on with the situation with the light right here. So I'm sorry about that.
I can see you really clear.
Okay. I guess this will. Yeah, we'll make this work. That's. We'll make that work. Okay.
You got to work with what you got.
Yeah, work with what we got. That's okay.
Dope. So do you have any projects that you are working on right now, or anything that you want to tell us about?
Yeah, so I'm the creator of Ximphonic Verses, something I've worked on almost 30 years, writing and creating not just that story, but all of these connected stories that exist and take place in that world. And it took a long time for things to get where they are. Morning, Val. It took, it was a lot of hiccups and setbacks, and Ximphonic Verses is not a traditional Western style book by any means. It's more based on what you would see in like Chinese and Korean graphic novels, but really things really pushed to extremes with design and the action and things like that. And so for years I tried to get it published, and I couldn't get anyone to publish it because it was aesthetically different, and it was rejected 157 times. Wow. And that is an actual number. That's not like random get, like that is an actual amount of time. And it was from everyone minus Marvel and DC, because they don't do that kind of stuff, and I knew that, and so it was no point to go there. So what I decided to do was start my own label, and then I had put out some art books and like a prelude, and then finally released the whole first volume of the graphic novel, which is 148 pages. Wow. And I was going to shows for almost 20 years. I mean, long before there was social media, there were Kickstarters and all these things, and I was taking black and white copies of the book and selling them at shows, when some of these shows, their max capacity was like 800 people, 1,200 people, and so over the years you see how these shows have grown. But every show that I did, I was very fortunate that every black and white sketchbook that I had made, every poster print, everything always had sold out. And so then when volume 1 came out of Ximphonic Verses, actually right before it had came out, I met these gentlemen from Hollywood, and they saw my work and they asked what it was, and then they asked me to call them, and so I did, and oh, Val, you're very kind. I certainly appreciate your kindness and support, cousin. It goes a long way. And they wanted to talk to me. It was on a Monday, and I'll never forget this. And called at exactly 3 p.m. when they had said to, and they put me on the phone, and I had no idea that the board of directors was there and the president of the film company. And they're like, you have 30 seconds to pitch us your series. And I was like, and I'll never forget this. I looked at my phone and I was like, wait, what? Like, it was not what I expected. And so I jumped right in and I did it. And they were like, okay, we like it. And, and they gave me a television deal for it. And they've since picked up several of my other series that I've done that will be anime shows that will release worldwide. And I serve as an executive producer and writer and artist on all of the shows. And it's listed on IMDb. And actually, just this past week, I was really, really happy to announce Wikipedia. I was able to talk with some of the people from there, and they are giving the series an official Wikipedia page. And so, oh, thank you. That's in the works, and it's funny because the same people who did the weekends page are the ones who are doing mine. So it's that same team behind it. So there's, all these really amazing things that are going on. And then the book comes out, it sells out. And then I print some more and it sells out. It prints some more and it sells out. And now I've been so fortunate and so grateful that the readership from around the world has been so supportive. I mean, I've sold to every place in the world except South Africa. That's the only place I have not sold books to yet. But I hope to at some point. And without crowdfunding platforms, I mean, it's almost sold 5,000 physical copies because there are no digital copies of the book. It's only physical. The only thing that is digital is the prelude, which is a PDF. It's just 3 pages, and like some art and things from the series, and so it's been a very interesting experience over these many years of trying to get stuff done.
So we have something from Val where she says, share more about the music that is sweet.
Oh, sure. So the graphic novel series has an amazing soundtrack that was composed by Michael Roberts, who did arrangements for Castlevania, the Lords of Shadow series, and for Nintendo. And it's 20. I think it's 20 songs. I think so. And we spent like 2 years working on that. I'm not like it's not me. He did it, but I know how things should sound like for these characters and these things, these kind of things I could hear in my head. So I would talk to him and say, this is kind of the sound I hear for this character. And he's like, we'll work with that. And so we did that. And then for the TV show, actually, 2 Steps from Hell, which they've done music for any major film franchise you could think of, from Harry Potter, the X-Men, Pirates of the Caribbean, you name it, they've done it. They are actually doing music for the show. And so that was a really... I didn't expect that at all to happen. It's been so many things that I never expected, especially with all of the obstacles that I faced in trying to get the series published and get it out there. And ultimately, it's like I always tell people, at the end of the day, this would always be my world. These would always be my characters, but it's because of the people who believe in it that it turns it into something different. It turns it into something more. And then you share that experience with everyone. And I just want people to be able to enjoy something at a really, really high level of quality in ways that maybe they don't see, especially with comic books. And it's not just in the story or in the art, it's in the packaging, it's the design of it, everything. It's really important to keep your standards ever evolving upwards, where it's continually, what can I do to make sure it's better and more refined for the next person who gets a copy.
That is so cool. Just so, like, in your head, you've built like this whole universe where you can hear sort of like the music for every character, or do you hear a certain type of music for every like story arc that you do?
It's kind of both. It's where I can hear it for each character, but also for the world in itself. And their world is it's very Baroque and yet Gothic, and it's a mix of these very Gothic architectures surrounded by these modern city kingdoms and these very contemporary kind of cities and kingdoms that are kind of vying for supremacy, for what's going on in their world. And really one of the themes of the series, Ximphonic Verses, it centers around a prince named Adonis, who comes from a kingdom called the Noctum Imperium. And he is the last of this venerated bloodline that was divinely charged to protect these swords of power that came from the dragons of Eon. And those swords for years had been used as instruments of war to fuel the ambitions of, imperial city kingdoms and powers that were vastly superior in a military sense. But often the wielder was slain by the power of the sword, because the swords are sentient, they're alive. Well, the swords disappeared, they vanished, and no one knew what happened to them. Well, then it was said that this era of kings would come about in which the swords would return to the mortal world. And so that has happened. So that's kind of just one of the layers of what's going on. But the main aspect of the story is Adonis has to make a choice, not between good and bad, but between evil and a greater evil. And so it's really that dichotomy of how can you do what's right when you're only doing the things that are wrong, and how can you pick a wrong situation and further make more wrong or more horrible choices, and then it turn out right. And so that's the theme of, that's his issue that he's going through. Then in his own personal life, his wife has died, and so he's trying to find a way to bring her back from the dead. He meets a princess from another kingdom that's called the Glass Kingdom, and her name is Sapphiro Sawir Florentissima. And Sapphiros is,
That sounds like fun to say.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. So in the book, all the characters have really pronounced names in that way, and it's all symbolic. It's all significant. None of it is just said that way to sound like that. But Adonis and Sapphiros, they share this rare ability in which they can behold celestial light with their eyes, and Adonis, it works one way, and in hers it works a slightly different way. And so that kind of draws them to the same tragedy, the kind of same conclusion in the story. And things are not really as they seem to be. And so it's very much in that theme of, if you enjoy things like Hamlet and Bram Stoker's Dracula and Beauty and the Beast, and it's this kind of great gnawing on this dark, beautiful aspect of art and opera, but told as a comic book. But there is this thrilling action that is in there. These characters have amazing skills and fighting abilities, and the things that they're able to do. And volume 1 is out, volume 2 is out. I'm actually working on volume 3 right now. Wait, let me. I have, okay. So this is volume 1. Oh, that is like, there's like glares for days. I am so sorry. So that feels so bad. I don't know what is going on with my light situation today. So, but this is, oh my goodness.
I'm sure it's a beautiful book, and we'll all have to definitely check it out later.
Yeah, it's this. So the covers are done in this dark, like story symbolic style, and so each cover evolves from this one, and so the themes are similar, but then they begin to change and change and change as the story goes on. But one of the things that I do is I make custom black backboards for the book, and so when you get it, it comes with posters and certificates of authenticity, large flyers, and then it has the black custom backing board, and it's very securely packaged, and it's that way to keep it flat, keep it secure. Of course, it's very securely shipped. This is volume 2, which again, it's still hard, so these are the books, and they're actually back in stock, and I'm waiting actually there's another printing of volume 1 coming next month as well. So in like a week, another one will be on its way, and it continues to amaze me how people are connected to the story, how they're impacted by the struggles, and it's very much this theme of reality and fantasy, kind of cross section, and really human emotions set in this fantasy world that is really kind of over the top for the reader. But that's the significance of its setting and why it's told the way that it is.
That's so amazing, and I can't wait to look this up later, because I think I've actually seen your volume 1 at our store, but every time I would go to pick it up, we'd sell it out. So,
oh.
No, I've seen a little bit of the art, and it's absolutely astonishing.
Thank you.
Definitely need to find a way so that way I can read it, because like I said, every time I would like get the chance to get it, it would sell out.
Well, they're I don't know if there's more at the shop. If not, they're available on the website.
Okay.
So they're back there, and definitely message me, any questions or anything about an order, and I'd be happy to help you out.
I'll definitely have to get with Miss Jen, the boss lady.
Yeah. If Jen needs more books, just let her know. I got more in stock.
So I do have a question. How was it? You said you got 157 rejections, and how was it to just get rejection after rejection after rejection, to be able to like grow from that, and then find somewhere that did just like embrace you like wholeheartedly? How did you really push yourself through each of those? Like, just after a couple, you just got to be like, why? So
yeah.
How did you like be able to inspire yourself to be able to keep going?
I think, there are some things that it seems like we can't be or do anything else except this thing, except maybe this kind of dream or direction. And years ago, when I first started getting the rejections, it was like painful in the very beginning, because you're like, okay, and then you try, and it was disappointing, and some of these, some of the rejections, I mean, they were really brutal, and then by the time I was like on my 10th one, I was just like, okay, I just kept trying, and I just kept, it's like you have to really be relentless in your approach to your storytelling, why you're doing it, and I had already invested, nearly 30 years of my life into this, so it's like there's no point in stopping from trying to tell this story and share it with people. And what I found to be most interesting is that all these years later, now many of the very people who said no and who rejected it and these various things are now the very people who are praising the outcome of it, and who are telling me that I've done good, and that you're achieving these things. And so it really becomes this thing where it's like you can't do it for like the love to say, oh, I want to do this because I want to be famous, or I want to do this because I didn't know that any of these things were going to happen. I didn't set out with the goal of, I want a TV show and I want to do this, and I just wanted to tell a story and share it with someone and hope that they enjoyed it. And if they did, then maybe that means I did something kind of right. And so the hits are going to come, the disappointments are going to come, the rejections, the setbacks, the failures. It is all part of it, but you have to be willing to take the hits, and then you have to just keep going forward and just keep trying and keep fighting. And I mean, you have to fight and claw and do whatever it takes to climb to where you want to be, in the sense of not giving up. Because if you give up, then you really didn't want it. If you let other people stop you, then you really didn't have the fortitude, that gestalt, that like you have to have like a steel resolve to endure these pressures that will come to get you to stop and quit and give up. And I see a lot of that sometimes with creators that are, maybe they've only been doing it a few years, or they're just kind of getting their foot into the door, and they have this mindset like, oh, I'm going to do this, and everybody said that what I'm doing is genius and it's great and blah blah blah. And the minute something happens, they blame people, they're ready to quit. But you can't. You have to just accept these things and say, okay, what can I do to refine this, to fix this, to learn, to grow from this, to keep honing my craft so that it can become something more. And that's really the key to it.
That's super awesome. So there is a question we've been asking everybody all weekend, and I'm excited to ask you. Do you remember what your first comic shop that you ever went to is, and do you know if it's still around?
One of the first, this was in Texas. If it's still there, I don't know. That was many years ago. But it's like, growing up, I wasn't really much into like Western style comics. I always, because of anime, I always appreciated, manga's okay, but I really prefer like Chinese comic books.
Yeah.
That for me, that's what I love. That's, and those are the things that I've studied for many, many years. And that's how I learned to do the things that I do with my own work, was from these art experts. And I still, every chance I get to learn from these amazing artists who are just filled with wealths of knowledge. And so that was the kind of stuff I was always into. And so my memories really are based more around the mangas that I saw. And because back then, anime was not as prevalent as it is today. Yeah. And so I remember when you used to go to certain comic shops and they would have it, or you'd have to go to like an Asian market, and they used to sell the animes in these really large VHS box, like tape boxes that were white or they were black. And it was like, it had the little plastic where they would put the like folded artwork on the outside, and you'd open it, and it was the little like clip in there where it would sit. And they were charging like $40-$50 for one of those. And that's just how it was, because they're it wasn't like it is today where it's everywhere and it's now socially accepted. And so those are the things that I recall from the most, and those experiences that helped to shape, the things that I wanted to do.
Wow.
When I was coming up, we used to have to get to a store called Media Play, which was like a Best Buy type place.
But better. But it was better.
Oh, certainly better.
So much better than Best Buy.
Oh, yeah. But you had to get there on truck day and be there when they unloaded the truck if you wanted to get the new copy of Bleach or get the new anime DVDs. Or VHS.
It was the same with the Sailor Moon.
They were sold out. Oh, yeah. They were sold out if you were 10 minutes late.
Yep. That was, and I miss Media Play. That was a great store. That was a fantastic store. And what I loved about it was that if they didn't have something, they could order it for you. Like they could just be like, oh, let's look it up. Oh, here it is. And then they could order it and it would get shipped to the store. And it just, great place. It was a great place.
Yeah. When I had my store, the Media Play here in town closed. And so I went and I bought all of their anime and manga display racks and all of their any inventory they had, I bought.
Right.
And it differentiated my store tremendously. And we would carry the Chinese and Japanese comic books like you're talking about, and it really differentiated our store. So when you were coming up and you said you had to pick them up at Asian markets and kind of random, sort of niche places, did that make it more exciting for you to be like into it?
It did.
I know this cool thing that nobody else knows.
It was it was one of those things where it was really just like, if you knew about it, you knew about it. If you were into it, you were just into it. And a lot of people weren't. Some people were, they kind of knew of it, but they wouldn't carry it in their shops. And so getting to go there and then, seeing, I remember the day, this was like in 1990, I want to say 94, when the last VHS tape for Record of Lodoss War, where the 6th one was available, and I was able to get in there and get it. And I mean, so it was just one of those things where it was like, it was so exciting because you would see things you wouldn't see at a typical comic shop. It was, manga and manhwa, all these things for years have been far more progressive than Western styled books. I mean,
it's still hard to find some manhwa though, especially down here. There's manga everywhere, but so I did spend some time in Korea, so that way, like, I learned a little bit that way.
Nice.
And so when I moved here, trying to like keep that was really hard. And I found that if I went to Asian markets, I could find the manga in kanji, but I couldn't find any like manhwa or anything like that. So it does get harder and harder still to find anything manga.
It does. It really does. And it's really, when they're so well done. Especially when you look at like people like Hong Tae Kim and Andy Sato and Wing Xing Ma and Kai Wei Kit, all these amazing just art experts who have done these incredible things. And it's like, where does it go that people would like to be able to see that kind of thing? And you can only, like you said, you can find it there, but it is hard to find. That is it's still not everywhere in that sense.
I've ended up going to websites and stuff just to find it. It's not the same. I like having it physically in front of me.
Yeah.
There's no other way for me to get it. I will go to the website and be like, okay, here I am.
Yeah, it's tough to, and I've got like volumes of from the Storm Riders, the Story of Tao, Heaven Sword, Dragon Saber, the 4 constables, and it's so magnificent and it's so good, and it really is like, it's it's on another level of amazingness. And so I think people should try it. I think they should. I think they will be greatly surprised by what they see.
Yeah, and I really liked. So my introduction to it was back when Sailor Moon was first coming out in the shoujo magazines.
Yeah,
and the artwork in it was so just like fluid and beautiful, and just like everything flowed into each other. And then they made the anime, and they focused more on like storylines to it rather than the art of it. And I was like, well, I mean, at least it's getting out there, right? It has to start somewhere. And then recently, I think it was Crunchyroll and HBO bought it out, and it's on Funimation. That they redid it where they put a little bit of CGI, but then they took it out for the second season of it. And they really brought that art to flow it. And they actually worked with, I just blanked out the writer's name. I'm sorry. They actually worked with her because she did a lot of the art herself as well. To really break down what was the actual storyline you wanted to tell. Because the problem back then, like in the 90s and in the 80s, and I think the early 2000s with manga turned into anime, was they would pick up a storyline when it's still early. There's like maybe one or two of the books, and it's not enough to make a 13 to 26 seasons. So they're like, okay, you need to write some filler stuff so we can put that in the thing, tell us stuff now so it can really like deviate. And now that nowadays they're looking at these storylines that are completed, and they're like, okay, tell us the story you actually wanted to tell, so we can tell it for you. And I love how we live in a day and age where people are really, they're not sleeping on it anymore, because people used to sleep, this whole other art form of types of comics people used to sleep on. They used to not even look at it. They're like, oh no, it's backwards, I don't want to do that. And now they're looking at it and they're like, oh wow, this is actually really good. And I'm like, I told you.
Right. It's been, and that's the thing, is it's been that way for all of this time. It's like, there's a guy who had told me he had just saw the Record of Lodoss War, the original OVA, like a month ago. And for me, I go back to 1991 when I first saw the first like 2 or 3 cassette tapes of it. And so it's like, it's been something that's been great all this time, but it's taken, like you said, a long time for most of the world to say, hey, this is really good. And it's not just that. You look at European comics, the Asian market, the European market, again, always progressive beyond what was the Western aspect really emphasized iconic heroes. And and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. We look at any culture and you will see these great mythos of how these characters are portrayed culturally. Here it was done with spandex and capes more often than not. But what even they are realizing is that there is so much more that can be done than just that one way of doing it. It's and of course now it's funny, I encounter these people a lot who, this one kid messaged me and he was like, there's a show I started watching called Thundercats. You probably never heard of it. And I'm just chuckling. I'm like, yeah, okay, of course. What would I know about that? But anyway, so it just, and as we talked and he was like, but if it was done like anime, I said, well, it is an anime.
That's what anime was back then.
The 2011 is anime. I said, no, the original is, because it was made in Japan by all Japanese animators, and so that makes it anime. Doesn't mean it just means animation, and that's what it means. So, but it was animated in Japan. It was a anime. And so he was like, no, that's not possible. Like, have you not looked at the credits? Have you not done any? Because if you look, you will see that it's that's what it is.
It always amazed me when I had my store, how many parents would come in and be like, my kid's into this thing called anime. And then I would show them the Miyazaki films.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Oh, that stuff used to be on the Disney Channel."
Yeah.
I go, "That's anime."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go, "You feel like an idiot now, don't you?" You know, it's
my niece recently
all of
got
those
into Dragon
shows.
Ball, and I was sitting there showing her like the 90s. She's like, "Dragon Ball's not that old," and I'm like, "Yes, it is.
Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
old." And I'm like,
yeah, because I think the original Dragon Ball premiered in like 87 or
Yeah.
88
I
when
think so,
Goku was still a boy. And so it really, and the funny thing with manga, you know, I mean, these artists, they're pumping out, you know, a chapter a week.
Yeah.
And so for me, one of the things that I always, and I don't know,
I just want to give him a hug and say it's okay. It's okay.
Right. And it's like my thing is this. I appreciate that people want to, you know, there are so many people who say, well, I'm a professional mangaka. And it's like, here's the thing. They train, they practice a lot and really have to hone what they do to really be, you know, to get that that title as a you know, someone who is a mangaka, who is that is your actual profession. And I hear so many people use that term, and it's like what you do is kind of like a imitation of that, and I can appreciate that, but it's like if what it really takes to do that, it is not that simple. It's not just, oh, I drew this and it looks like that, and so that's what it is, and I throw it on Kickstarter and, you know, everyone's gonna love it. It's like, no. These men and women, I mean, they have brutal deadlines that they have to be under, and people who are exposed to it now, they can't appreciate that years ago how much harder it was culturally for these things to be done, because Japan's culture is not like ours.
Oh,
you
no,
know, it's so different. Yeah. It's like I was explaining to a friend the other day. It's like you can't do things in a convenience store there, a convenience store, the way you would in Japan, the way you can here. You know,
what I think that I miss the most is the food, though. The food over there was phenomenal. I miss the pork buns that I would get.
Oh,
the
pork buns are great.
You could sit down and you could actually eat your meal like right there, and yeah.
It's, I mean, it's so many amazing things. Like, you know, you get real dim sum, you get real pot stickers.
Yeah.
You know,
like the 7-Eleven food is just as good or even better sometimes in that restaurant.
Right. Then, that you would go, and it's little things like, I was just explaining to someone the other day, it's like when you go to pay for things, it's rude to hand the cashier money.
Yeah, they have a little plate for you to put it in.
Exactly. So you put it there, you step back, you let them take it, they put the change there, then you take the change, you get your items, and you leave. You don't tip, because tipping them is considered rude.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just it's so many things that are part of are just part of that kind of the way that the culture is. And I've been fortunate enough that I've been around so much of it all my life. And part of my family is from Asia. So there are just things that you get that opportunity to see up close and personal that way. But it's all very fascinating.
Okay, well, I do have to ask some, let's say, the generic questions that
Sure.
I've been asking. But since you definitely understand how, and I understand how food is over there, instead of asking you the pie question, I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite type of bun?
I want to say, so I love pork dim sum.
Oh, yeah.
I love chicken dim sum. I love rice buns.
Yes.
Those, you know, like steamed rice buns are so good.
Oh my gosh,
And,
yes.
yeah, and
I
then
used to get this one after class. That was, I think it was red bean.
oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, I miss it so much.
It's so good, and it has that smooth glaze over the top.
Yes,
and you
then you were just like,
yeah. Yeah, it's to die for. It's wonderful.
Yeah. I wish we could have that more here. Definitely. I also miss hot pot so much.
Oh yeah. That's
okay.
And it's it's like it's delicious. It's so good. It's wonderful.
Drooling a little bit. I'm sorry. Excuse me. But definitely. So, what really like brings to you like the inspiration? What is your biggest inspiration that you have for everything that you're doing?
A lot of it is, so I always enjoyed history and mythology and things like that, but a lot of it is also personal experience. The things that we can suffer through, tragedies that we can face in life, and hardships that we endure, and it's like, how do we deal with these things? What are the methods? It's I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't, for me, art is that's my drug of choice. That's how I
it's a very
deal.
Expensive drug.
It can be, yes, it certainly can be. And so it's like that is that's how I deal with things, and I think about the stories that I wanted to see told, and I wasn't seeing them told the way that I would like to, and certainly fans of a huge fan of Shakespeare and of Homer and Joseph Campbell, and of course Professor Tolkien and George R.R. Martin, just these individuals who have come along, and before there were curves, they were making the curves before it was there for individuals. And so I think about, you look at Professor Tolkien, look at as you see his accounting of the things he experienced in the war, growing up the way he did, losing both of his parents very young, him and his brother having to be raised in the orphanage at that church. And so there are many aspects that influence what he did. But then I think about Homer. There is no one alive today who could ask him what made him write the Iliad, what made him write the Odyssey, but clearly something in his life that he saw, that he heard, it affected him enough that it caused him it compelled him to really tell this kind of story, this kind of song and sonnet that wasn't there. And the same thing for Shakespeare. What did he see in his life or experience that inspired Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet? And it just, there are so many things that we can look at and say, okay, what was the point of this? What was the driving force behind this? And I think with creativity, what's important is to not look at something and say, here is this, I'm going to duplicate that, make an exact duplicate. It's to say, what can I learn, not from the story, but what can I learn from the author? Because see, that's the true lifeblood of what is going on. What can I take away from their experiences, and how my own life and my own experiences are, set with whatever parameters, and then you build upon that. And I think that's really why it's really important to not just read comics, but actually read literature, not just studying Jim Lee. Yeah, Jim Lee is a fantastic artist, but he has become a better artist because he has started to study under Kim Jung, who is an amazing Korean art master. So see, his work has improved over the years because he's been taking tips from him. Now I see it, and I can tell the influence between what was his and then where these new things have came from over the years. And so that's really the key, is to say, okay, what can I learn from this? And then apply that to your own self and say, now let me build upon these circumstances and situations and these characters that I want to put people in, and then move that story forward. Because if you can't, there are 6 basic questions when it comes to storytelling. If you cannot answer the first 3, you will not be able to answer the later 3. And then you won't be able to write a story that moves things the way that it should. It just kind of becomes this like stagnant, one-off, maybe 2 issues. And then they're like, I don't know what else to do, so I have to move to something else. Yeah. But if you really take the time to learn and understand those things, it helps you to really create something spectacular.
Definitely, like, to grow as a person. That includes like in your art and like just all around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we do have about 10 minutes left. So where can everybody find you on the social medias, and where is there a website we can find your books at? Yes.
So Ximphonic.com, which is XimphoniCversus.com. The social media all has Ximphonic Versus name on it. Now the publishing label is called Quantum Entanglement Publishing, but we're on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. You can check out IMBD. You can check out the Global Genesis Group, which is the movie production studio that is bringing the TV show out, which there are some really there are so many things I can't say, but there's all these things that I wish I could say, but some really, really exciting news is impending very soon. And of course, the pandemic shut everything down, and we were already in production when everything hit, and then everything just kind of just went flat. It stopped because it was like, okay, there's nothing anyone can do. But things are starting to move, and so very soon I'll have some really, really exciting news that I'll be able to share as well soon. It will be on Wikipedia since it's getting its own official Wikipedia page, and so there are just like all these things that are happening, and so it can. And I'm on Facebook, and I'm friends with Kyle, with Miss Jen, with a lot of people. So anyone can reach out to me. They can contact me on the Ximphonic Versus Facebook page. You can contact me on my personal Facebook page. I'm happy to always sit and talk with anyone.
I do have to say I really enjoyed our conversation, and it was really nice to have somebody else talk about my bean paste bun. Oh, the red bean paste.
No, it's been great. It's been really nice to. It's been nice to meet you, and Kyle, I'm glad to see you. I hope you're feeling better, my friend.
I am. I'm feeling well.
Okay.
Well.
Good.
That's why I've been in and out. I've had some people in to talk about that. But I don't know if Jenna asked about this, and we have a couple minutes left. You have since the beginning really been driving this story and this brand, and really been. And we've talked about, I know you and I have talked about this a little bit before on past things, very protective of it, to make sure that it stays true to the vision and the story you want to tell. Can you give some advice to people who are out there who are creatives, who are saying, well, if I change this little thing, maybe a publisher will want it, or maybe Hollywood will want it? Give them some advice about how to not give into that temptation.
Really the best thing for someone to do is to stay true to themselves. And so if you have created an idea that is a certain way, and you see a lot of people maybe using this cliche to get noticed because maybe one thing is popular, and so everyone's like, oh, well, let me just do that because that's what everyone's doing. But the problem with that is, that will eventually lose its air. And it will start to deflate. Now its fans will stay there. You don't want to sacrifice something that you've created and done to fit a narrative to make it popular. What you want to do is stay true to that, stay true to yourself, the vision you had for it, and just keep working on it, because eventually what will happen is the things that everybody does to become popular become typical. But when you're doing something that is not typical, that is not as accepted, you're then putting yourself in a far more unique situation. Yes. Is it hard work? Of course it is. Yes. May it take longer? Absolutely. But the end result is you will put yourself in a position where, I'll use the DBZ analogy real quick. When the Cell Saga was going on and Trunks and Vegeta went into the hyperbolic time chamber, Trunks trained and trained and trained so he could push and push and push and get himself all the way where he's like, I got to be stronger. I got to do this. He recounted how he would watch Vegeta from a distance and how Vegeta wouldn't let him train with him. He wouldn't do certain things. It wasn't until he fought Cell that he realized his father had done it correctly. Yes, he lost the fight, but Trunks' power went up really quick and it came down even quicker because he didn't have the experience to balance out the way he should be doing what Vegeta did. Vegeta had all the years of experience and the knowledge and the know-how. So it's kind of the same thing. You need the experience, but you have to keep doing what you're doing. Don't sacrifice creativity to get someone to notice you. Because if you do that, whatever your vision could have been, it will get lost because then you'll keep changing it to make it appeal a certain way. And I'm living proof. Here, I couldn't get anyone to support my work, no one to pick it up. Yet now I have 3 Hollywood TV deals. I have actual Hollywood credits, action figures that are being made without using crowdfunding. I mean, I've sold almost 5,000 books. I'm working with people who in 100 years I never thought I would ever get to meet, and continually meeting amazing readers from around the world. And so you have to just be true to yourself. You have to be willing to take the hits that come with it. And just remember, these things are where they are because people believe in you. It's not because you've instinctively done anything so amazing. It's because people said, hey, we see that and we can appreciate what you're doing. So now we're going to share that experience all together. And then they get to enjoy the things that you've been working on for a very long time. Not, well, I did this and it got me the first issue, but now I don't know where the other 10 episodes are going to go. So that's the value of really holding on to your convictions with your art and with your story, and don't sacrifice it to be popular. Just keep working at it.
I think that's great advice.
Definitely.
I think that's so great. Jenna, did you get to ask any of the fun questions?
Yes.
Yes, and we talked about sticky buns for a while because that was so important. Yes, and dim sum and
that's
pork
the question
buns.
I wanted to know.
I didn't ask him what kind of pie. I asked him what kind of bun.
That's.
But they are both round.
They are both round, and they're all both tasty, and they can both be savory, and they can both be sweets.
See,
so
there we go.
Yeah.
And what I love about it, it's 10% simplicity, 90% genius. You're just eating in a circle. You can't go wrong with that option.
There's a soup one that I never got to try. I wish I could have tried that one, where it's like you bite into it and it's like a soup. I never got to try that one. I was too busy eating either an egg sandwich or my pork bun.
It's okay. Another opportunity will arise. It will come.
And I'm drooling again. Oh, I gotta stop, man. First we're talking about pie, and we're talking about buns. Oh, we're
gotta do that. Those are very important things to talk about.
Definitely.
Awesome.
And the McDonald's over there was so good, so much better.
Oh yeah, they have things and it's funny. It's like, they get married in them. It's so exotic to them because it's not fancy. Culturally part of something that they have there, and so when they do it, it's a whole other level of just greatness. Yeah, it's so cool.
I have a friend whose father owns the business that makes the signs for all of Asia's fast food restaurants. Like the American fast food restaurants use him to make the signs for Asia.
So could you totally ask him if he could send me a steam bun?
Well, I mean, so they're in Japan, but they make them all, and he goes, some of the McDonald's signs are so elaborate that are going to some of these places.
Yes,
you would think it was for a church.
Yeah,
it's
so unique. And it's like, the way that beef and chicken, the way they raise animals there on farms, it's not like it is here. So the quality of the food is actually really high. It's really good. Yeah.
And then KFC is just like top of the line, especially during Christmas season.
Yeah, and they've got like the best KFC buffets over there.
Oh my god, they do.
Yes,
why don't we have that here?
Right. Why can't we have it that good here? I don't know, but it's disappointing.
On Okinawa, on 4th of July at KFC, for $50 American, you can get all you can eat chicken and whiskey.
What?
On the 4th of July on Okinawa.
Wait,
but they do it for the servicemen and women that are stationed there. Like that's kind of
right.
So
yeah. I mean, I get that, but it's like, look, can we share the wealth, please?
If you put whiskey in KFC, I'll go
Maybe my chicken and cake. That's the best way to do Christmas. I don't want to do Hanukkah this year. I want to do my chicken and my cake, please. Thank you.
Those are two great options to have. Yes, chicken and cake. Never go wrong.
Never.
Unless it's not seasoned right. And if it's not seasoned right, you got to throw it out. Yeah, then it's no good.
Some Tony's in there, a little bit of pepper in there.
Oh, see? There we go.
Red
chilies. Well, on that note, we are out of time. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry I couldn't be around more, but I heard your conversation. You guys were so great. So,
thank you.
Congratulations on all the success. I'm so happy that the production is continuing on the show and that it's growing and all of this. Like, so excited to see it.
Oh, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. It's great to see you, Jenna. Nice to meet you. And I hope to be back soon with some more exciting news to share with everybody.
Absolutely. So if you're watching out there on the internet, in just a minute, you're gonna need to refresh where you're watching. And we will be right back with some more great creators today. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute.